Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, back to my channel. If this is your first time here, please consider hitting the subscribe button right now. Got lots of great backlogged content and lots of great content coming up. If you're an avid viewer of the channel, or if you've been on my other social media pages, you know that I've been absent from YouTube for probably a solid week now, maybe a little better than that. And the reason is very exciting. Very exciting. If you remember back in last year's season of the Newfoundland Hobbyists that aired this winter, there was an interesting little clip there. I'll roll it right now. You mind if I pass the blessing? Yeah. Dear Lord, thank you for this food we're about to eat. Thank you for mine and Cody's families. Thank you for my my little precious baby developing in the womb right now.
Seriously?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, serious right now.
No way.
Yeah.
I thought, man. Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
No way.
So as you saw, that clip announced that I had precious little baby on the way, and just this past weekend she arrived. Check out this clip right here now. Hi, buddy. Hey. That's your baby.
Gentle, gentle.
Baby.
Baby,
Gentle.
baby.
What's her name? Baby what?
Oh. What do you think? Very gentle. So as you can imagine, I have my hands full here now. Two little girls. I'm a blessed man, that's for sure. If you guys, I posted on my Facebook page, I haven't posted on my Instagram yet, posted on Facebook, and you guys have been so awesome, encouraging us and giving us well wishes and congratulations, and it's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate that. Yeah, but we're having a ton of fun. Things are going great. Just arrived back home from the hospital yesterday, last night, so I'm out here in the shop today. I really shouldn't even be out here yet. I've been in most of the day so far, helping out. My wife and I have been really putting a lot of work in. Our little toddler's having a bit of a tough time adjusting. She's nearly 2 now. She's having a rough time adjusting, but we'll get her through it. I'm out here because I'm selling the KLR 650. Now, you guys who have been watching for a few years will know that I've been into motorcycles. I picked up an ATV this past year, but spent my whole life on motorcycles of different types. Dual sport is my absolute favorite. If you had to sit down with me and have a chat about bikes, I think I'd convince you that there's no greater bike than the dual sport motorcycle. It's just for adventure. You can do absolutely anything. This KLR 650 has been so awesome for me. My first dual sport bike was a Suzuki DR200, and that's the bike I got my license on. I moved up to the KLR 650. Now the KLR is a fantastic bike. I've put 6,000 or 7,000 clicks on it now with absolutely no issues. Very minimal maintenance routine on these bikes. They're very simple engines, very simply built, and they hold up to whatever you want to throw at them. I'm selling it because I've noticed in the last year or two that most of my riding is dirt riding now. I don't do a lot of highway riding. If you know anything about dual sport, you know anything about the KLR, you'll know that it is what's called the only true 50-50 bike. 50-50 highway, 50% highway or on-road, 50% off-road. So it's got some features that do that. A lot of bikes err more to one side or the other. Like the Suzuki V-Strom, if you're into bikes. It can be an off-road bike, and you can throw dirt tires on it, and it does well, has good clearance and suspension, but not the best off-road bike. It's really big, it's heavy. This thing sits in the middle. You got this big fairing, you got the windshield here, your riding stance is set up good for on the road. You can go all day on the highway in this thing and run just fine, but it's also set up a lot like a dirt bike. You got a good suspension, lots of ground clearance. It comes with dirt tires from factory. It's just a great bike. However, I want a little more on the dirt side at this point, so what I'm going to switch to, well, maybe we'll leave it we'll leave it, surprise you guys. But I've got a sale for this thing. I think the guy's coming tonight, so I've got to get it cleaned up and get it prepped, and that's why I'm forcing myself out of the house here and out to do this now, because there's nothing worse than someone showing up. I showed up at a guy's house this weekend to look at a bike. We kind of set up a meeting, and the bike was just, it was probably a great bike, truthfully, but it was just buried in mud, had a flat tire on the back when I showed up. Tire needed to be pumped up, and that's not the way to make a sale. I don't like giving my money away, and when I do, I really like to feel good about it. So I want to make sure that the guy coming here is real proud when he goes away with this bike. So that's what we're going to do right now. So maybe I will tell you guys what bike I'm going to go with. I've been looking really hard for a DR650. It's been my favorite bike for a long time. It just wasn't in the cards to get one at the time I bought my KLR. But the DR650 is what seems like the bike for me. Now, the difference, I've got some holdbacks when it comes to bikes. Part of it is I'm only about 5.5 feet tall, in case you guys couldn't pick that up from the video. So I'm not real long in the legs, and let me show you what the stance is like on this KLR 650 for me. So as you can see there, it's it's pretty tall. It's a factory 36 inch seat height, but it's an '08, so it's got a bit of sag in suspension. Sorry, my mind's all scrambled here. A bit of sag in suspension, which gets me down a bit more. And I did a seat cutaway, which took about 3 more inches out of there. So it's sitting at probably around 31, 32 inches there now, and I'm fairly skilled on a bike. Like, I'm confident on a bike, which is what allows me to ride that, even though it's way too big for me. The issue is that the KLR is close to 450 pounds wet weight, which on 2 wheels and having that height disadvantage is a massive bike for me. And off-road, even though it hasn't held me back, I've gone everywhere I've wanted to go. It's it's a lot to throw around, and it's just a DR is a lot slimmer, a lot lighter bike. I believe you're looking at close to 80 to 100 pounds weight difference with the KLR, which is a massive difference, with the DR, sorry, just a massive difference. So it's going to be nice to switch out to a smaller, lighter bike. Thinking about doing a road trip to pick one up real soon. If you want to watch that, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see if we can make it happen for you. The first order of business here is to remove some of these mounts. I have a cell phone mount up here and a mount for the DJI drone controller mounted here. So got to get those off. Those will be mounted on the new bike. So like I said, I really love my KLR, and I've been thinking about making the switch over to the DR for a few years. But I've just been loving this KLR, and it hasn't really been in the cards with money, and it's not wanting to fool with the sale or whatever. But anyone who's been following, again, you avid followers will know that last year I finally got my dad to try dual sport. Got him to pick up an XT250, which is a real small light bike, definitely not a highway bike. It's like a 85 km/h max motorcycle, more of a dirt bike, real light, around 240 or 50 pounds, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. We did some riding together, and I think he wished that he had gotten a dual sport bike earlier, which is what usually happens. People don't fully appreciate it until they get it. But he just switched out now this year. He's been looking around for a bike to upgrade, because one of the limits with that XT250, although the chassis is a beautiful size for us, it's an underpowered bike. So he moved up. He went and picked up a DR650, which I was pretty envious over. And I had never actually ridden one. When he brought it home, I jumped on his and took it for a ride. within an hour or so, I had mine posted online for sale because I was just, it was exactly what I had imagined it would be. It was this, with all the power of this and most of the features and stuff, but it was lighter, it was smaller and lighter, easier for me to handle, and just felt more comfortable off-road. I ripped up a couple trails real quick on it, and you didn't feel like you had that huge top weight looming over you like this bike has. So that was just to give a bit of context. Now we move up to today. Now I'm selling mine, and we're hoping to go real soon to get a DR for me. It's going to be cool as well for us to share the same bike, and both of us getting into dual sport like that was just an awesome experience anyways, for just something nice. Sometimes it's hard to find things to do with parents like that because there's such a big age and generational gap, but it's a way for me and Dad to spend some good time together, and it's just a blast. Dad's been on bikes his whole life, but always street bikes, never into off-road stuff, but thankfully he loves it. And the next little thing here is to uninstall this OGIO rear tail bag, the storage bag here. This is a cool bag because you can get a lot of stuff in there. It's got a lot of good pouches. It's got hard rubberized sides on it. If you happen to drop the bike or something, it's not just going to pull open like nylon. But as you can see, it hangs on there with 4 of these heavy-duty clips. You can take it off. So if you're pulling up to, say, a hotel or pulling up to a restaurant and didn't want to leave your bag out on the back with your camera gear and your wallet and your lunch or whatever's in there, just unclip it, take it on in the restaurant. It's not that big or obtrusive, but yeah, these straps, I've got to uninstall them now from the bike. If you don't have like an impact driver like this, I'm not saying you need a DeWalt one, but man, they are so unbelievably handy. I have really been enjoying this quick release chuck that it has here too. It's been really nice. There we go. So that's it for my shop time here today, guys. You can see I got the bike wiped down here. Got the few accessories took off that I need to keep for my other bike. They're pretty specific to my uses anyways, but this bike, as you can see, is mint. I'm a little bit sad. I often get like that when I have something I really like, and I've enjoyed this bike so much. Just 10,500 kilometers on it right now, and whoever gets it is going to get years and years of fantastic use, I have no doubt. Hit that like button, please. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me if you think the DR is a good choice or not. Appreciate you guys following. If you want to see some good ADV bike content, some good dual sport content, you're going to have some coming up with that new bike. I'm getting excited. We'll be doing some more adventures. We'll be filming it, of course, and it's going to be fun. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video.